anything you can do, you can make art, and it doesn't have to be good. From this, I can express myself to the full extent of what it means to be a human.
True hell is when your present self meets the self you could have been.
And see the beauty in the here and now, looking me dead in the eyes. I could tell he's kind of trying to intimidate me. And then he grabbed my glasses, threw them on the track, and then punched me in the face once and I think twice.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
The thing is to acknowledge that you can exist differently from the social norms. So many people do not do this, and there are so many reasons to do this. For some people, that could be everything.
The world to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most important part of them is how I operate day to day. I do what I do to help other people.
Fight this monkey, you know.
Yeah, right.
Choke him out.
Yeah.
He's trying to kill you.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta get to the top of
You
the
got
mountain.
the boa constrictor around your leg.
And no one's stopping for you.
Always remind myself that anybody that I know or I could go at any time. Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Villa. Today, we have a University of Alberta honors economics student. He is a hard worker and he's very kind. Duncan Morrison. We will discuss importance of creativity, a couple of rules he has made for himself, and the importance of living intentionally and working towards goals. Duncan is magnificent. We met through work at ATS Traffic, and he is very personable. He's friendly. He reflects a lot on life, and he's built a system that guides him throughout the tumultuous times, and he is very compassionate. We went out to do street interviews last night, and he's just so warm, welcoming. I really felt heard. And yeah, I think for people watching who want a little bit more structure in their lives, who want a little bit of motivation and some rules that you could benefit with, it's life-changing. I think you guys would derive a lot of value. Everybody, welcome. Duncan Morrison, everyone. Today, we are here with Duncan Morrison, everyone.
Full name, yep.
Yeah. So, man, how do you see creativity in playing a role in economics, a field that is often thought of as numbers and data driven?
Okay, yeah, right into it. For me, at the level I'm at, the very beginning, where I know almost nothing, has not helped me once in school at all. In school, any success I've had is definitely just from hard work alone, and creativity has not helped, like especially for economics. I can get the marks I get just because work hard, try and learn everything. And for me, it's like repetition, learning the models thoroughly, not being creative, but understanding them fully, and then practice questions over and over, trying my best to understand everything. And I think for lots of fields, it's probably the same, where at the level we're at, still at the undergraduate level, or just learning in general, you just have to learn as much as possible and try and take it all in. And then up until you get to the frontier, I don't know if creativity is going to be that beneficial to most people. I don't think it's the large determinant in academic success.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is discipline, like consistency, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be really creative and have all these thoughts, and they could be phenomenal thoughts. But if you don't have the hard work and the discipline to back that up, it won't amalgamate to something great.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. You need the substance behind it. You might have an idea. You have to read and research a lot to have any idea how to back up that idea and how to move forward in a meaningful and kind of scientific way.
Yeah. Like if you have, let's take art for instance. Like if you have a little piece, okay, what colors are you going to use, and how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
And then aside from that, right, the ideas that you do have, right, how does it all fit together? Is it just one? Is there a theme? Is there something that reminds you of your childhood when you look at that? Are you trying to even sell it? Are you trying to make it a career? Like what are your objectives as well when you're going through that? And for many people, just itching that creative side for them just makes them succeed. But for some people, they want to, add in a structure. They want to add in a system. And it really goes down to a lot of reflection as to what works for you.
Yeah. And for me, like the reason I had creativity as a topic is that it's such an important part of my life that's not related at all to my academics or goals as a whole, but something that's essential for me to be content with existing. And I I don't know. I think it's so fun to participate in the act of creation. Like I make anything you can do. You can make art, and it doesn't have to be good, but you have to
Yeah.
put yourself out there. Like this podcast,
Yeah.
you're an artist. I I made guys, and I have a system for how I make my magnets, which
Look at this. It's a beauty.
and unfortunately, like the thing I like about that too is it's you can just make art, and this is obviously imperfect and actually designed it intentionally to be imperfect. Yeah, because it doesn't have to be good, no training, but it's something that's essential for me to what I call grow my soul. One of my favorite authors has this idea in an interview I heard with him where he says humans are like something that you have to build their soul. They're things that have a soul. And despite not being religious, this is like the idea of a soul that exists in everyone that's not like necessarily a spiritual thing. Kurt Vonnegut's the author. But it's something I feel like as part of being human. I don't necessarily believe in like spiritual soul or like a soul given to me by a god, but I believe in being human. And then from this, I can express myself to the full extent of what it means to be a human.
Yeah. And it's making mistakes and releasing
Mistakes.
art that
Mm-hmm.
isn't perfect. Because I think what even is perfection?
Right. Yeah.
It's this sort of, like square, like something that is unattainable, but
Mm-hmm.
we have it in our heads, but we don't have like a clear picture of it. We just have like an expectation of how it'll make us feel. And when the project is done, whether it be a podcast, whether it be art, whether it be the design that you have and the layout of your room, or some sort of comic book or book piece or essay, it's just your expectations. Does it align with the reality of it? And I think a lot of people, when they say something isn't good enough, right, their expectations were just here, and the reality, it's here. It doesn't meet their expectations. That's why when people win the lottery or they get some sort of bonus, they didn't expect that. That's where, oh wow, they get this boost of dopamine because they're shocked. And I think, and to relate that to perfection, when you finish a product, right, you if you're really happy with it, your expectations are here, but the actualization, the realization of it, the reality of it, it's way above your expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah. I like the thing you started off with, which is something I think I realized, but wasn't able to put the words to it. Where there's so many people who, for one thing, are focused on perfection that they choose not to create at all.
Yeah.
So then they might not even, like, they don't put themselves out there to make a podcast or to try and, like, I've made movies with my friends that it's so fun to make, and it's so interesting, and then it's enjoyable. And if you limit yourself by trying to focus on perfection, you can't even start. And so it depends with everyone, I guess, too. Like you said, you also could produce a product that greatly exceeds your expectations without even realizing it. For a number, like, which for the most part would come from time, but could also just come from initial talent that you might not have realized.
Yeah, I wonder.
I like that.
Yeah, I wonder how many Michael Jacksons or like Picassos, Van Goghs out there, or even in the entrepreneur side, like Steve Jobs, that are too scared to start, and they never start at all, and eventually they're on their deathbeds, and they're going, I regret just not starting that business, that piece of project, and they could have been something. And I think there's this idea or a quote of, true hell is when your present self meets the self you could have been.
Are you talking about like, so like, if suppose everyone has a talent that they're best at or something, what is your talent that you could extend to the fullest extent possible that greatly exceeds like someone else, for instance, in the same field? Or like,
no, like if you let's take the multiverse.
Okay, the
for
multiverse,
instance.
suppose a multiverse.
And there's like the version of you to
Yeah.
that went to start that business, that worked out consistently, that studied, that asked that girl out, that told people their boundaries, and that's the best version. Versus maybe you're in the middle of the multiverse, maybe you're not as good, you're not too bad as well. You meet that person and you're looking at that person and you go,
yeah,
that could have been me, but
okay,
but my victim mentality, but I blame my parents, and it was because that girl rejected me, and I fell into alcoholism, but then there's proof right there that's me, because when you say compare yourself only to yourself, that's like one of the biggest, it's cliche at this point, right?
Okay, I like this idea. Yeah.
So
okay.
think of all the opportunities that you've had in your life, right? If you said you always took them, that'd be a lie. Because there's many times you got scared, or this every single person out there. Maybe there's a very slim chance. There's probably someone out there that always took every single opportunity, always. And maybe they're the best version of themselves in this reality. But I think for me personally, I didn't take every single opportunity. There's many chances where I could have worked more, I could have slept more, I could have studied more, I could have been more present, I could have tried more, but I didn't, because in my head, I kept calling myself a failure. In my head, I'm not good enough, or this piece of art, what's the point? I lost meaning. But what if you just took every single chance you got, Duncan? What if?
I like this idea, because I don't think I've necessarily ever thought of it exactly like that. But you're saying, you could suppose a infinite amount of counterfactual versions of you exist in like a multiverse, and one of them has tried to benefit themselves in every single way possible, and you can get close to that. You can try.
Yeah,
because there's no reason not to be better off, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? And it's not just in one thing, but how can you better yourself in everything?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like today, you can do something to better your body, to better your mind, to better everything about yourself. You can fix those relationships that are tarnished, or you can find a solution for them. There's every single moment is a chance to grow. And of course, yes, that's like, I don't expect someone to just be productive all the time and positive, but you can also add meaning to the suffering. You can add meaning to the sadness, and you can find ways to cope.
Yes. Yeah. So so I could say, you acknowledge the imperfectness of being yourself.
Yes.
But you can say, I will work toward being the cliche, the best version of myself I can be.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if there's any reason not to do that.
Yeah.
Seems like there's way more reasons to do that, even though it can be difficult.
Exactly. Can you share a time when creative thinking helped you solve a problem in your studies or personal life?
Good question. Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing is needing to find, I think, like I said earlier, some balance. And it's really easy to be robotic and work as hard as you can. And maybe someone like you could even see yourself falling into that, because I know a bit about you. So you work 7 days a week, 5 days a week you work a job, then you're doing this all weekend. The viewers may not know, this guy's relentless and never stops. It's easy to fall into that robotic routine, where you're working, you're trying to accomplish goals, and then you lose maybe, I think, the present moment. So for me, I think the balance of being creative, or trying to be creative and participating in creative acts, helps me be present and see the beauty in the here and now, while also still having underlying goals where I'm working toward something for the future.
Yeah. I think it's a catharsis, right? It's like the creative
Catharsis.
mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
dude, you just feel relieved. When we are, for everyone listening, Duncan joined me in the street interviews last night, which was fantastic. He's a natural at it, and just very good time. We had a good time.
I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
That was, I was so out of my comfort zone, and I learned so much and did something scary and created something creative.
But you suggested a thought, that came to your thought, to your mind, and you asked me about it, and I'm like,
I wanted
why
to do
not?
that, because
why not?
For me, that would, in my mind, that was like a step to making today easier for me.
Yeah. And like, yeah, creating new experiences and getting out of your comfort zone, taking on that risk, and then that balance in your life, right? And
Yeah.
I think you're a person that does a lot of reflection, and throughout all the things that you've learned in life, you found that creativity benefits you the most. Because I'm the same way, where I'll sit down and I'll reflect on, okay, what made me sad that day? Oh, it was because I didn't get enough sleep. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
because I just chose not to go on the bike ride. I just chose not to run
Mm-hmm.
when I could have. I just took a nap instead.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I obsessed on that girl and I was on social media for too long. That's why. And through that, right, when you add in creativity, you gauge how it made you feel based on all these possible, all the times that you've gone through life without being creative. You compare that, or when you didn't get enough sleep, right? So you're a person that likes to be rational, right? You like to
Yes.
choose routes.
Yet I chose creativity as a topic.
Yeah.
Without fully understanding why I chose it, just as a natural instinct.
Yeah.
And you have some pretty good reasons for why I think I probably did choose it. Yeah.
Yeah. So based on all the iterations, you found that this is the most optimal route for you to grow mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. Yes.
Yeah.
With an emphasis on soul for the creative aspect. But then you're saying that, yeah, there is spillover into the other aspects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you always been like that? Was there like an aha moment?
Was there an I don't know. I think I'd always like doodle my paper at school. I used to really like writing. And I used to be in all through school, my greatest strength was creative writing. And I kind of stopped doing that. I think maybe if there's any aha moment, it's maybe when I made some movies with my friend. And for me, I think that would be the closest aha moment, where you realize you can put all the pieces together, create something and share with people. Doesn't have to be good, but it's really fun. The whole thing is, the process is fun. Making it in itself is fun. And then having any end product is fun to reflect back on, see like where as a time shot in your life to see, oh yeah, that's how I was then. But then it's also fun it's nice to make things, I think, for yourself also, but it's part of the reason you create something is mostly to share with other people.
Yeah.
I guess for me, maybe then creating is kind of like how I do share with other people, because I don't know if I share. I'm more interested in other people maybe than myself, but I guess creating anything is how I kind of share with. That's how I put myself out into the world.
Do you find that you feel for other people more than you? Do you find that you care for other people more than you care for yourself? That sometimes it might be like at an expense.
I don't know if it's ever an expense to me. Sometimes I'll put myself in a spot where I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Without like fully understanding everything I do and like having like a recording of everything I do, it's you kind of create your own version of yourself in your head. And to a large extent, I think I do. I feel very compassionate and I try my best to help people. I don't know if I've ever done it to the point where I'm much worse off though. But I do, and I do treat myself very well and recognize that and try to help myself. I don't know if I've ever done it to the point where I'm worse off though.
Good.
I've been in points though where I was like, I need to stop. But I do value myself and I value others, and I think I balance that. I'm not sure though. I'd have to think more about it.
Yeah. I think it's very common these days when people give too much and
Yes.
they don't have the resources, right? They don't have the mental bandwidth to be able to give, and they give and they give, and next thing you know, they have nothing. And so I think it's important that you save yourself, that you put on the life vest first before you save others. You put on the mask first so you can breathe. Yeah, and I know you told me the story of
Oh,
the
yeah,
transit, and I
yeah,
just like brought to mind this guy got in a fight, guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind telling that story
Do you
to
want to?
the
Yeah, do the
yeah.
quick story.
Yeah, quick story. Yeah. Let's hear it.
Quick story. Yeah, I've said it a few times. I can show you the video. I don't want to show the video on the podcast, but I'll show
Yeah.
you the video after.
Sure, sure.
Um, January 2024, University of Alberta LRT station. I was at the train station because I wasn't sure if I locked my vehicle. So, so I didn't even have to be there. So after my first class, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I locked it. And I was like, it's probably locked, but I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, I'll feel so much better if I know if it's locked. So I was at the train station, sitting on the red benches, and I was listening to music, and I was like, kind of just ready to take the train. But I do try my best to keep high situational awareness. So like when doing this, I still like look left and right. And I was sitting there, and I looked to my right, and I saw coming down the escalator was a man who caught my attention. And I was like, okay, I'll just watch him and see what happens. Then he approached a group of girls, and he was walking around them. And he like had his hands up, put them out, and was circling them in a weird way. And so I thought, okay, this isn't good. I just kept an eye out because I didn't want to escalate it. He walks away. I'm like, okay, crisis averted. And then he walked back to them, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to put myself in here. And I had done similar things in the past where I can kind of interject myself in a way that de-escalates and distracts. So I thought I could do the same thing. So he's approaching them. They looked really uncomfortable. So I said to him, hey man, that's a nice jacket. Where'd you get your jacket from? And then immediately he switched. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, from the streets. No, he didn't say from the streets. He said, from the streets. Looking me dead in the eyes. I could tell he's kind of trying to intimidate me. But in my mind, I thought I could kind of say something else to try and keep talking with him.
And then how tall was this guy?
I think he's about 5'10",
yeah.
kind of stockier build. So he's not small. The cops, when I showed them the video, were like, "Oh, he's a big boy." Like he wasn't that big though, but he's.
Well, you're like 6'2", man.
Yeah, I'm 6'1". He was probably 5'10", stocky build, probably weighed just as much as me. So not much of a difference, I guess. And then I tried to say one more word, and he pushed me. And then from there, about psychology, I don't exactly know what happened because it happened so fast, and it's kind of almost like a traumatic event. But I think I instinctually pushed back, and then he grabbed my glasses, threw them on the track, and then punched me in the face once, and I think twice.
Oh, man.
And when he punched me in the face, that was my first time ever getting punched. Have you been punched in the face? Didn't
Never.
feel good. Yeah, I just saw black, and then there was black for like an indeterminate amount of time, and then I just thought to myself, oh man, I hope I don't fall backwards.
There's everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I got punched in the face. Did not expect this. When I kind of came to, I guess, I hadn't fallen backwards, but he had tried to push me off the other side of the platform. So he was pushing me across the platform, and I was on the edge of the platform. And then I looked to my left, and I didn't have my glasses on. So I saw the light in the tunnel, and it said the time said due, and I saw the light in the tunnel. So I thought, oh shit, a train's coming. I'm gonna die. In the moment, so many thoughts were going through my mind, but one of them was I could definitely die in this moment. There was no train coming. It's just I realized the next day actually it's because I didn't have my glasses on and couldn't see. But I just tried my hardest I was pushing him, so I pushed him. I looked for the escalator to grab the escalator, and used that to stabilize myself. And I know from self-defense, from what I heard, you're supposed to, if something does happen like that, the thing that you're going to live through, you could be injured, is just to go prone, or not prone, in fetal position, protect your head, and then he can't pull you onto the track, because that's obviously the most dangerous thing in that instance. So I thought of that in my mind. I was like, but also I don't want to get kicked in the head. So I just grabbed the escalator to stabilize myself. I pushed against him, so I got in the center of the platform, and then I put my hands up. Then I guess my instinct was to still be engaged in the fight because I was looking for an opportunity. So I had my hands up, and then when I put my hands up, he ran away. But that was an interesting experience that thankfully most people haven't had on public transit, but I'm unfortunate to have.
Oh, but it takes a special type of person to be able to stand up to a bully or a person that's
Yeah.
harassing other people. Because
You
most
do put
people
yourself.
are, yeah, a lot of people are just probably just looking at this guy.
I was the only person who helped out of everyone there, and then one person filmed part of it.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's everybody's got these noble virtues of like wanting to help other people, but when the fear is in there, all that goes out the window. When there's imminent threat, all of it just dissipates.
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't intentionally try to get into a fight. So a couple of people are like, "Wow, that's so brave," but I was. Once you get punched in the face, it's not. I didn't think I did anything at the time to get punched in the face, so I wasn't expecting to be in a fight. It just ended up happening. There's one more thing I wanted to say, but I forgot right now. I'll try and remember.
Okay, and then yeah, it's very brave, man. Because I'm sure you were scared of approaching it.
Fear, and then the adrenaline kick after. I felt like I was gonna puke.
Yeah. Because without that fear, it's just being naive.
Yeah.
Without that fear, it's just stupidity. I think what the part of what being brave is it's trudging towards threats. Granted, there's a reason, not just doing that because you just want to look cool, like to save other people. That's why we glorify people that run towards a burning building and saves people. And of course, that's not what you should do. It's not the norm, but you did it, and under the immense pressure, what does a person do?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of more an introverted, quiet person for the most part. So yeah, it's hard for me to do something where I approached him, and then thinking back on it, I was like, okay, what could I have maybe done differently to not aggravate him? Because I think he understood immediately what I was doing. He understood I was trying to distract him from the girls, I think. So then I think maybe could all of this have been avoided if I didn't do anything? When's the right point to interject in a conflict if you see one? You obviously don't want to escalate it. And what happened was it got escalated. But then I think, okay, what if like you have a sister? What if that was your sister? What would you have done? And what do their parents think maybe, or themselves, that someone at least hopefully thinks they tried to help? It got escalated, but what could have happened if I didn't do anything at all is what I think about. And that's the thing that gets me, where if I don't act, what can happen? And that's the hard part, to make the decision of when to act. Because I've made mistakes too. Yeah.
Do you think being creative has helped you stand up for people? Does it even relate?
Maybe it does.
You talk about the soul, right? Because I feel like this is
the soul ideas of spill over into the mind, body, and soul. I think maybe the thing is to acknowledge that you can exist differently from the social norms. A lot of people, they didn't do anything because they're kind of socialized to not. Right? You have to be. If it was the social norm to help someone in such a scenario, everyone would have helped.
Well, there's the idea of spotlight effect in psychology.
Okay.
Where there's actually a case study with this woman. I think he was even in broad daylight, but there's like all these families looking outside their window, and she was murdered.
I know this one.
But when people were asked why they didn't help, their rationalization was the neighbor will help. And there's like 50 people watching, and they all thought that the other person would help the other.
Yeah.
Versus if it's actually reduced, if the spotlight effect is amplified, the more people there are. But when there's only one person, that person is more likely to help than if there's 50 people, because the blame is on them. They don't help.
There's another word for that. Do you remember the other one? Because I read about that too. Spotlight. Excuse me. But yeah, exactly. So that's also a factor to consider too. So I think part of the thing that you like about psychology is, and I remember because I read that in a textbook, and that was one of the first things I read. And it was called something else though. But then once you acknowledge something and know about it, you can prepare yourself. So that's part of the
inoculation theory.
Is that? I think
inoculation.
there's another one too.
Once you implant something,
Oh, you're combining things. Yeah. Okay.
You become immune to it. That just like antibodies. So if I say this person coming to us is gonna try to persuade you to buy this product, you're gonna be hesitant and you're probably not gonna buy it. Versus if I never told you, you're gonna be unguarded and you're just gonna take at face value for what he said. You know, the inoculation theory really works when in politics as well. When you tell somebody that, hey, this politician isn't credible, they're less susceptible to manipulation. So if you tell someone beforehand, make them cognizant of something or someone or an idea, they're less likely to persuade it because it provides critical thinking. It incites it.
And I'm sure you can learn much about that from so that's why psychology is interesting to me, because you see a behavior, you say, you can learn in other fields, but it's large part psychology. This person, most people do this thing, but because it's for so many reasons, which you know about, like natural instinct, socialization, but you don't have to do it. The first step is to first somehow acknowledge that, and by studying psychology, you learn about these kind of interesting things.
Yeah, which ties back into creativity, right? There's
someone was great enough to think of that idea.
Somebody coined it because I think like the spotlight effect, it's just catchy, right? The inoculation theory, the economics of the diminishing returns, right?
We were talking about yesterday.
It's all very catchy, right? And like we all kind of know this. We all it all makes sense because we've all experienced it, and I'm like, huh.
But someone needs to like formalize it properly, and then you can properly build a theory behind it. It's because you could say this is common sense. Then you have to go through a lengthy process though to explain why and find the real truth in it. And to build upon it from being more than just common sense.
What advice would you give to students who feel they aren't naturally creative but want to develop this skill? That's
interesting. Hard to give advice when everyone can choose how to exist differently, because I don't think there's any problem, first off, by not being creative. If you want to live your life, if you want to live your life in a way that's not creative at all, and that's how you want to live, I don't see a problem with that. But if you do want to be creative, how to do it from the standpoint of a student? How would a student be creative?
Yeah, because they're just studying, right? It's more like, learn from the textbook.
I guess maybe if you want to find creative solutions, I think you'd really have to understand everything from like a theoretical and practical standpoint first. You have to really, it's hard to be creative. Like how do you find a creative solution to a problem? You first have to know how to do the problem and then look for an easier way. I think I've heard mathematicians talk about why it's good for them to be lazy, because you can, and that's some of the creativity where you know how to do a problem, but if you're lazy, you can apply knowledge you know from elsewhere and maybe apply some different theorems, other techniques you've used in the past to find a quicker solution. So, but yeah, it's hard to do that because you have to have real knowledge real previous knowledge from hard work to get there. Because I don't think creativity is really that helpful for me, from my perspective at the undergraduate level, has not been helpful. So maybe from what I know now and what I can think, the best thing to do would focus on working hard first. And then if you want to be creative, you have to build on that after. I think.
I'd add, just like even when you're learning, you can, our mind can uproot all these different ideas, right? I don't know, like some people think more in images, some people more in words, but you can visualize stuff too. You can, when you're learning, you can provide building blocks, and you can have this own narrative in your head about a certain idea. Like like books. Like a lot of people love books and they
Mhm.
write books, but as I'm studying, what I like to do is I like to paint a picture in my head of like this entire narrative, and it just sticks. Because I think we don't really, like, if you think
Oh yeah,
back,
that's gonna help for sure.
if you
Yeah.
think back on all the theories and all the calculations, you don't really remember it. But you will remember when that girl was being dramatic and looked at you funny and yelled at you, right? Because of this person that did this. Like, we are also wired for that story, that narrative side and the emotional side. And I think you could play that into the creative side, into learning and memorization.
Yeah, because
Uh,
since you study psychology, you know about learning, and we were talking was putting something from your short-term memory into your long-term memory.
yeah.
So I think, yes, having the time to think about something, I think that's more, so that can help. And if you're creative, you do it in a way that works for your creative side. So painting a picture in your mind, you're creative, so it kind of falls back on your natural instincts. Maybe it's something more enjoyable for you to think about. And you're spending the time to think about material that puts it into your long-term memory.
Yeah. What are some personal rules or
Mhm.
principles that you live by, and how did you create them?
After working with you yesterday, I now want to call these systems I have in place.
Oh,
I like your word systems.
Yeah.
Systems I have to fall back on and always have underlying the actions I do. So one of them is, and this is something I was taught by my dad, and it's something I've actually found really useful. And the thing, it's in itself useful, but it has a lot of spillover. And it's something always try my best to do. And like you said earlier with psychology, if you don't realize it, you'll never correct the behavior. So this is, I try my best to always walk with my head up, not looking at the ground. And it's a simple thing that I do that has actually, I guess, even since I'm talking about it, I know it has such a large effect on my life. So for one thing, it just promotes a confidence within yourself. You're not being submissive. You're walking upright. You're not showing fear. I'm sure. Have you ever noticed when you're walking past when they put their head down?
Palpable, man. It's like
They act submissively.
yeah, you look over to the, like, it's like they're attracting attention, but that's not what they want. You know?
Yeah. Like you
Like,
see them, they want to be hidden.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there and be okay not being hidden.
But by being hidden actually attracts more attention because it makes it emotionally charged. You know? So it's actually not what they want.
I notice sometimes I'll be walking down the street, and for whatever reason, other person will. It's one thing just avoiding eye contact, but looking down is something I try my best to never do.
Yeah. So you like the systems?
I like the word systems.
Yeah, systems, and walking with your
walking with my head up high. You're right. To promote confidence within myself, not be submissive, and to walk properly for one thing, but then the spill over into other aspects of my life, that hopefully the confidence carries over into when I'm doing something else. And hopefully it's the word noticeable, maybe in a way noticeable, that you kind of can show that you're, for me, not submissive in other aspects of my life too, as best I can.
What's the butterfly effect?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, when you do walk with your held up high and you feel confident, you're more likely to look at your surroundings. So
I was going to say that too.
By looking at your surroundings, maybe you'll see a friend that you haven't seen in 5 years. You talk to that friend, you catch up. Maybe there's a business opportunity there. You're less likely to trip and fall. You know, you're
realistically the main asset. Yeah.
You're less likely to attract people that are more nervous. You're more likely to attract people who's looking for a strong man.
Less likely to get mugged.
Yeah, less likely to be mugged.
Right.
You're more likely to be able to talk to other people because you're looking around and spot opportunities. Like if there's a stand that interests you, so by doing that, you just follow your passions. And maybe you follow this passion of yours because you're looking around, you get invited to this community or you get invited to this group, then you make a friend there, and then by that friend invites you to this job. You know, maybe you really enjoy it.
Leads me to a podcast.
Yeah, leads you to a podcast. Exactly. But so by following this simple trick,
Yes.
it opens up and it unlocks so many doors. And I always think that we think too narrow-mindedly, and we just think in days. We don't think of like the stretch of 10 years. Like, how many people can you meet? How many books can you read? And we underestimate what we can do in a year, but overestimate what we can do in a day.
Yeah.
Huh?
I like a lot of what you said. I think I thought of, but didn't quite remember to say on the spot. But yeah, if you look down, you're limiting yourself. You're not taking. I like to look up also, just because because I like to. Because if you look up, look around, see your surroundings, there's beauty that can go unnoticed, and I really like those little beautiful parts of life. And sometimes you sometimes see them when you're looking down. But you want to look so you have a full field of vision, and you can see so much more. For example, on campus, just west of Rutherford, there's an old sundial clock on the wall, and I just like looking at it. I don't even think it works I don't know if the sun hits it anymore, but it's interesting to see something that one time served a purpose, and to me, it's just beautiful there still. You look around, you see things, you see interesting things, and you're not limiting yourself.
You look around and you forget that life is beautiful. That existence is
can
beautiful.
Take it all in. Yeah, in that moment, you take it all in. You see everything. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But yeah. I have another thing with this topic. Sometimes the part when I remember to do it is when it's uncomfortable. So if I don't have a hat and sunglasses, and you're like, the sun's bright, that's when I most remember to do it. Because what do I do then? I keep my head up and put my hand over my eyes to protect from the sun. And then sometimes it gets a little bit uncomfortable if you have to do it for a while, but it's not that uncomfortable. And it's a reminder to you can do things that are slightly uncomfortable that have a huge benefit. Also, that you can endure difficult things, even though it's uncomfortable. But if you can endure an uncomfortable thing, you can endure difficult things.
Yeah. I mean, if you undergo this task, a little bit hard, but not too hard, right? Mm-hmm. You do it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you're more prepared to do that next level, right? That's why we structure levels, right?
Levels,
in video games, man. That's why they play in a human mind for that. Oh, level 1, level 2. And it becomes progressively harder. But if you start a person at level 100, they'll fail and they'll lose motivation. You start a person at level 1, then level 2, then 3. But if you get a person that gets too cocky and they do level 4, they skip everything. Of course they fail. Mm-hmm. So progressive overload in every single facet works.
Okay, I like this. If I can't walk properly, how can I do anything else?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You think about it at the core. Yeah.
So by hitting the gym, and like this is aside from like, of course, the progressive overloaded like muscle building, and you need to start off with lighter weight. I'm talking about, okay, by hitting the gym, okay, you do that successfully within a day. Maybe you can go on to study, and then by that difficult task, because maybe you don't want to work out, but you still did. But then, studying, I worked out and I didn't want to. I can still study. And then by still facing discomfort every single day, you add that into your system, it becomes habitual. And eventually, you just do it. You just don't even, that mental friction that you've had prior is not even significant. Yeah. And how do these rules guide you when you're faced? I know you also...
Yeah. Can I talk about... I think I have...
You said help others when they ask they're needed.
So I have one... The second one is also important, and it was something I was also taught by my dad, which is if someone speaks to you, you speak back. So many people do not do this, and there are so many reasons to do this. For one thing, once again, I'm here because we worked at the same place. You spoke to me, so I spoke back and got to know you. You started it, though, because that's usually how it goes with me. And there's a lot of reasons to do this. I asked my dad one time why he always did it, because I kind of picked it up as a habit from seeing him do it my whole life. And one time it was like, yeah, the reason I actually do it is because there's so many people out there that just want someone to talk to. And that's why they're trying to talk to you, because you're like, why is this stranger talking to me, is what some people think. That stranger really wants to talk to anyone, and that's why they're approaching you to say anything how trivial it is, how you might think it's meaningless. They just want human connection. And then to be compassionate, if you're compassionate, you see this, and there's no reason to deny them that when you lose almost nothing from exchanging a couple words with someone can make a huge impact to so many people. So many people don't have anyone in their lives. They might feel lonely. They go to the store to buy something, but they might just want to have some human connection. And so they might just say a couple of things to you.
Yeah.
You might think that they're a little bit weird. Maybe weird's maybe a harsh word. You can tell that they're sometimes, in my experience, a lot of people that do this aren't socialized in the way you expect would be a normal socialized person. But they're damn interesting. And those are the people I find most interesting to talk to and sort of kindred spirits. I think the one I think back most of now is I was on the train a couple months ago, and there's this guy walking down, and he just wanted to talk to someone. So he's saying, "Hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk?" And I was in a bad mood. I didn't feel good. But when he approached me, I had to. It's my rule. So I smiled and said, "Hey, sit down." We talked for the whole train ride, and he was so interesting. We had really good conversation that I would have limited I would have never experienced had I not had it as a rule, and being compassionate toward other people. Part of it is kind of scary too, because you might meet some people that might be intimidating, but as the rule, you still talk to them. You don't show fear, I guess. Weird to say. It can be scary talking to people, and you're open to so much new experience.
I changed the way I talk to people. Like I added in vulnerability and honesty,
Yes,
and actually
yes.
just giving them the couple minutes, right? That's all it
Mhm.
takes, and just asking about their weekends. If I'm at work, I'll always introduce myself to everyone that I meet.
Yeah, I think
Or-
everyone
yeah,
at work
everybody.
knows you.
Yeah. If at the hall,
Yeah.
if you're a new face, I will introduce myself. It's very uncomfortable at the start. A lot of people look defensive. A lot of them may not like me,
Mhm.
but eventually through the different iterations, and if I'm just generally curious, I end up earning their trust.
That
And
because I don't know if people realize how important that is for some people. For some people, that could be everything.
the world to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you it kind of ties into like helping others
Oh,
when they're
yeah.
needing to,
And
right?
that one's maybe kind of, it's the hardest to do and maybe the least concrete. Like you can say you walk right, you talk to people, it's easy. You just do it. How do you help people? That's hard. And how do you choose when to help people? I think for me, but that's one of what I have thought about, and that's my reason, and that's my rationalization for why I tried to do what I do. Because I didn't. Why would you work hard? I thought about this last year, where I thought I have to rationalize why I do this. Like I kind of knew I knew why, so I had to think about it. And for me, it is to help people, and so that's just a rule I have in my life, and it's not that hard to do. People come up to you and say, "Can you help me do this?" And it's something I've kind of always done, but now that I've thought about it more, I said, "Okay, this has to be a rule." Because it's really easy to turn a blind eye and not help someone and try not to think about it. But if you're in their shoes, you'd want someone to help you. You have to do this. It's also the most dangerous one because someone might not have the best interests in their actions, and you have to kind of determine this. Like if you see someone on the side of the road, do you help them? It's dangerous to help them. So you have to make that choice.
Yeah. I think if everybody lived for other people, this world would be utopia.
Utopia. While still, like you said earlier, first and foremost, caring for yourself so that you're able to help other people. And I like that,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the narrative of if I care for myself, that I can have more to give to other people.
Yes.
I mean, like by going to the gym, I can better show up for you.
Yeah, exactly.
To empower my mind to connect with you better. By eating healthy, I can also be there for you. By being financially stable, I don't have to stress.
Yes.
That means more bandwidth to be able to have thoughtful conversations, more hugs, more meaning, more value. And then you also, you got you like the Socratic method?
What's the Socratic method?
I know nothing.
I know nothing. That's one I came up with recently where I realized I know nothing. So that's the most recent one I've had in my not rules system.
Yeah.
Fourth step of the system. Not fourth. At the end of every other system, remind yourself, I don't know anything. Because I don't really know anything.
Me too, man. I don't really know what I'm doing. You know what
I don't know what I'm doing. I try my best to rationalize things, but I have no idea what's happening. I've said things, I'm sure, on this podcast that aren't correct, or maybe not even truthful to what I actually even think, because I don't even know sometimes what I think, because I don't know anything. But I remind myself that it forces me to be more interested in learning. I say I don't know anything, and then you look around and you see, oh, I don't know anything about that. How interesting.
I mean, they've done I've heard this so many times of thought experiments of you ask people on the street, what is a zipper? And they're like, there's this thing on somebody's pants and you zips it up and down. Okay, what is it made out of? People don't know. What is this first step to be able to attach this piece? They don't know. Okay, you take an apple. All right, where does this come from? An apple tree. Okay, what does an apple tree look like? Okay, now it's got some bark, some leaves. If you look in compared to the orange tree, what is it? What makes it special? Then you don't know. There's all these things how do you make glass? How do you make a mic? What is this even? We just trust it because somebody's an expert in it.
Yeah.
They make it, right?
Somebody knows something.
Yeah. But we all coalesce for all this entire setup, this camera. I don't know how this camera works. I just press certain buttons and I'm like, okay, so it worked before. I just trust the manual. Somebody simplified it for me. Or the thoughts, the spotlight effect, or the way we communicate. Somebody already made this the language model that we have, and I think,
thank goodness previous people made language so we can be on this podcast.
You'll like this one, bro. Okay, so in 2010, Steve Jobs sent an email to himself and read, I grow little of the food that I eat, and the little I do grow, I do not breed or perfect the seeds. I do not make any of my own clothing. I speak a language that I did not invent or refine. I did not discover the mathematics I use. I am protected by freedoms and laws I did not conceive of or legislate, and do not enforce or adjudicate. I am moved by music I did not create. When I needed medical attention, I was helpless to help myself survive. I did not invent the transistor, the microprocessor, object-oriented programming, or most of the technology that I work with. I love and admire species, living and dead, and I'm totally dependent on them for my life and well-being. Steve Jobs. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I heard part of that before, but not the whole thing. Or the whole thing.
Everything that we are, the clothes on our bodies right now, and your glasses, even the skin products, it's we don't actually know what they're made out of,
No, and I like that. I like that a lot. I like this kind of core of that where we don't have the things we have today are because people existed for more than just themselves, and we're able to move that through history. And have you a much simpler quote than that? I think Albert Einstein said he stands on the shoulders of giants. Same thing. We have everything we have because of other people.
Like that. So how do these rules guide you when you're faced with tough decisions or setbacks?
I like when we had a conversation off camera yesterday about your systems. And I like what you said when at the end, the way you operate is you are who you are because you fall back on the systems you've created. I think by having these systems in place, I forgot the question. What's the question?
When you experience setbacks.
When I experience setbacks, it's you have the system in place, you have the habit. By doing things repetitively, you have the habit, so it should instinctually kick in that you just do what I've rationally thought to be is the best thing to do. I've previously thought what is rationally the best thing to do. So that hopefully, when the time comes, I act instinctually from habit.
Yeah.
Setbacks in my, I don't know if I'm sure there's been instances where setbacks in my life have been aided by these systems, but for me, I think the most important part of them is how I operate day to day. And then I guess there's this one thing I can't remember where I heard it, but your life is the collection of your life is day to day. The things you do day to day are what makes up your whole life, right?
I think in the darkest of times, man, how do I operate? Like,
Yeah.
do I treat my family members with kindness? Is that like how I go about things normally? Or do I hit the gym when I'm feeling sad? Or do I melt down? Do I blame others? I think the rules that we create for ourselves in like the times when you aren't thinking, right? When you literally have dementia or something, or you can't think properly because you've had no sleep. What do you do?
Yeah.
And it's because through reflection, through sharpening the sword, through all these different iterations, you build up this identity, you build up the soul into something that operates in kindness and compassion, patience, discipline, vulnerability. You won't have to think about it. It's ingrained in you. It's tattooed to your brain. That's how you operate, you know? Have you ever had to break one of your own rules? And if so, what did you learn from the experience?
I think I probably break them all the time. Sometimes I'll catch myself walking with my head down. That's when I have to say, don't do that. You're making yourself a worse person. Consequently, the world is worse off because of that. Walk with your head up. Sometimes, I mean, I remember this one time I was actually you know how sometimes at work I have to like start at 5 and then you do something and then you got an hour of nothing to do, like for what I have to do. So one time I went to McDonald's and then I was following rule number 2. I was talking to a guy. It was just after the Oilers last year, just after they lost the Stanley Cup final. He said, "What do you think?" And I was like, be honest, I was like, oh, it would have been nice if we won, but I don't really care too much. And then he said he doesn't care because he was kind of some kind of nihilistic reason for why. So I started talking with him to follow rule number 2. The system. Item number 2 in the system. And then I was talking with him, and then I knew exactly when to end the conversation. And it's because we were talking, and then he says, "Oh, okay, Canada's starting to have the same problem your UK had 20 years ago." I was like, "Okay, what problem is that?" And he said, "The Muslims." And then I didn't feel like having the conversation with him anymore. So I said, "This concludes our conversation." And I walked away, and then he screams at me, "Oh, they ruin everything they touch." And I was just, I chose not to have the conversation with him anymore because I didn't think it was going to be useful for my time. And I frankly did not like him anymore.
Yeah. If you take it too much at face value, you follow it all throughout, like, man, your entire family just got slaughtered. You're not going to be walking with your held up high.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
These are like, there's systems in place you try to fall back on and guide your life, but you don't always have to necessarily follow them. They're not binding rules that, well, your life will be ruined if you ever don't follow one.
Yeah. Life is tricky that way, right? It's great that you
requires nuance.
Yeah. So what does living intentionally mean to you, and how do you apply it day to day as a student?
Well, for me, day to day is, I don't know anything, so I don't know what other people think. But from what I've observed, it seems like a lot of people don't necessarily operate intentionally and think about what they're doing day to day and with their life as a whole. But I could be wrong. That's what, kind of from observation, I think the majority of people I've observed don't seem to do that. But I don't know anything. I could be wrong.
No, they don't.
They don't? It seems that way, right?
I think I talk to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to toot my own horn here, but
Oh, you're a very extroverted person that enjoys conversation.
I
Yeah.
love talking to people. I just always like to gauge them at a personal level. I like to talk to them about economics. I like to talk to them about personal finance, trauma, the deep stuff. And of course, there's a lot of small talk too. I'm not that guy that's like constantly trying to search for info, right? Trying to build myself. I'm just like, sometimes I'll just talk about the gym or my day, but essentially through just repetition, talking to people, things come out, things bubble up. And I find people complain a lot, and people always are searching for happiness, and nobody's thankful, or maybe not as much, and they like shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And then we talked about
I've
that.
seen that on your podcast from the bits and pieces I watched. Yeah. People being hard on themselves for no reason.
Yeah. Negative self-talk is big from what I've noticed. And it kind of goes against living intentionally, because are you really living intentionally if you're degrading yourself?
Yeah. And I think for me, for living intentionally, is I acknowledge that I am something that is experiencing what we call existence. Whatever this is, doesn't matter. It's kind of like Rene Descartes' idea that I think, therefore I am. Like the core of it, I am something experiencing the thing we call existence. This thing for me is temporary. I only know what I know, and everything is from my own point of view. This thing to me is enjoyable. And for me, a large motivator behind what I do is because of my lack of religion. So for me, this thing is temporary means my life is it for me. And that's how I have thought of the world so far. Okay, then what ought I to do? So this thing's temporary. I try my best to live a life that has enjoyment for me. And for me, by thinking, what really ought I to do? I feel great helping other people, and it feels like the right thing to do for so many reasons. So then I choose to do what I do. As one of the largest motivators is, and like I said before, how I rationalize it, I do what I do to help other people. And that to me is the intentional part, where I have a why for what I'm doing. For almost everything I do, I have a rationalization behind it. I remember we talked at work my last day about how for me, humor and like comedy is kind of my shield that I put up. So most people I've interacted with, I've never seen what I told you was the one persona that's serious, because I have so many different personas I employ, and all but one's, I think, serious. But that's intentional, because I choose to exist that way, knowing I exist that way, because I don't know, it's nice. It's nice to make people laugh or to be silly, and I'm fine playing dumb and being silly to make everyone else happy if they laugh, and if it makes their life more enjoyable in that moment. And that kind of also just goes down to helping people. And I enjoy my existence so much, but it's unfair that not everyone else has the same privilege. So to be intentional, to work toward making this experience more enjoyable for more people.
Yeah. Like you always go back to doing it for other people. Hey, you want other people. I think that's a large
system in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I'm the same way too.
Yeah.
Or I find that when I think too much about myself, I feel depleted. I feel like I'm kind of vain. I feel devoid of meaning.
Yes. You catch yourself. Yeah.
When I think of other people, at least when I frame it that way, everything's lighter. Like I feel
you frame it that way.
Yeah, I feel better. Like when I go to the work or to like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have so many millions. I'm going to invest this all away so I can be better. And I get it, right? And it doesn't feel as rewarding, versus I'm going to do it so that my family one day doesn't have to worry about money. So that after I worry about my family, or I solve that problem of the finances, money has never been really something that came easy to us. Then I can help the world. I can go at a local level, then a city level, then a province level, then a national level. If I frame it that way, I'm happier. And I'll fluctuate between the two, because there's ego, right? That's always going to be Like, oh, I want to be
Yes,
loved.
the
I
ego.
want to be
Yeah.
liked. Like, when I go to the gym or when somebody comes and talks to me and like, hey man, I've seen your podcast, or hey, like I really like what you're doing. If I take it in as like, look at me, I'm the shit.
Mhm.
I'm a baller. Like it's kind of just kind of it seems makes me feel hollow, but I feel good. Don't get me wrong, it's kind of like a short term kind of feeling for me. Versus I'm like, wow, I changed this person's life. Like
Mhm.
they consume my content. They probably changed their perspective. I'm
Mhm.
so thankful for them like, extending their gratitude. I'm sure I'm gonna meet them one day and we're gonna have a good time again. And I'm gonna keep doing this. They're both kind of the same. It's the same interaction,
Mhm.
but it's different the way I narrate it in my head.
Yeah. I think reflecting back on how I think also after you said that, someone could maybe think very similar to me. They could think, this is all that ever is my existence. Why not get as much pleasure for myself as possible?
Hedonism.
Hedonism. Why not do
Just
that? If
coke.
this is it, why not go crazy? Live my life to the fullest.
Because-
Only for me, me, me.
Yeah, because that's actually not gonna make you happy. They're not gonna make you fulfilled.
That's yes, you're pursuing a much simpler pleasure.
And it's not. I think there's this quote. Forget exactly how it goes, but men distracts them by like the simple pleasures, and then like it essentially refers to like just sex and
Yeah.
drugs and all these things that are just short-term hits.
Short term. Yes. I haven't said that once and I should, because this is a long-term podcast.
But
Keep it long term.
I've told you the philosophy of like short term.
You
right?
have.
It's just like things that are hard, things that are not worth having. Things that are difficult are probably worth having, but things that are easy are not worth it.
For a lot of reasons.
A lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Because it's like sitting down watching Netflix, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe you have a friend that's chill. Like that's socializing. It's good.
Mhm.
But sitting down to study for that exam, working out, getting to bed on time, saving, all these things
Mhm.
require a lot of attention and focus and consistency.
Yeah.
Intention. Yes.
You're intentional about it.
That's long term attention. Can you walk us through one of your big goals and how you're breaking it down into smaller, achievable steps?
I have one main goal that has been guiding me, especially. So we're in similar circumstances where I'm 24, I'm still completing my undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
So a couple years older than some students, but there's always, I've found there's older people than me in a lot of my classes, but on average, older. My main goal right now is, after having entering university and having no idea what I was doing, is to now get a Master of Arts in Economics. So that's my goal. And how do I do that? I do that day to day. It's by knowing what I want to achieve, why I want to achieve it, what I do getting up to there. So for now, I was just in economics and I was like, oh, I guess if you want to be in a master's, you pretty much have to do honors economics. So I applied to be in the honors program, got in, and then I was in the honors program and I did that. So I just have to keep on doing it. This year, the next 2 semesters, for the next 8 months, my goal is just what's the next step? Master of Arts Economics doesn't really require that much previous research or anything. It's largely based on your grades. So what do? I get the best grades I can get to achieve my goal. And since I value that more than leisure time or time spent with others or a number of things, I am okay working really hard toward that goal, because that's what I want to achieve and I can do it and will feel good after. So for me, I just have to day to day be the best I can be and work on average as hard as I can every day to achieve the long-term goal. And then from there, create a new goal, because I'm goal oriented. I've always been, and it feels really good to achieve goals. It feels good to do hard things. And then for each person, this will be different. For me, I like being goal oriented.
I love that. It's awesome. Yeah, having goals can just set your paths, and you have an objective.
Yeah.
right? And of course, right, it's going to be the day to day is going to be subjective and you're going to
Mhm.
question yourself along the way. But through the goal, you have a path. Like
I
it's
have
actually, you
I
can follow it.
I don't have a path. Like I I was thinking about this. I know where the path is, and I'm creating the path.
Mm.
That's how I decided to think
Well,
about it.
okay, there's like, you want to get to that mountain, and
Uh-huh.
there's so many ways to get to the top of the mountain. You can go this way, this way,
Mhm.
this way. But there's no preordained, there's no
Mhm.
trail. Right? You have to chop down the grass
That's
and
how
you
I was
have
thinking
to
about it.
swing through the
Yeah.
branches and you have to
Yeah.
fight this monkey, you know.
Yeah, right.
You have to choke him out because
Yeah.
he's trying to kill
You
you.
got to do what you got to do. You got to get to the top
You
of the
got
mountain.
the boa constrictor around your leg.
And at
you
the end of it,
know?
you know why you
Yeah.
want to get to the top of the mountain. You have your why. It's your
Yeah.
intentional making that path. That, yeah, I like that analogy.
Why don't you scratch that and you come work for me? I'll give you $100K per year.
Deal. Oh, and then so I have like the large goal I was thinking about, and I
Yeah.
thought about recently another goal that's just something that I want to do to slowly change, to make a gradual and intentional but not dramatic change to my life. Is what I was thinking about. Is we talk about ego a little bit, you and I. A secondary goal I have is to kind of reduce the ego and grow what I call the togetherness in all things, in people.
Hive mind.
Hive mind. I like your psychology terms.
No, I'm just
Is
thinking.
that a psychology term? Or?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's just thinking of like if we all like had like if you could
Yeah.
condense all the human beings in the world and it's just one human being. Yeah, well, like that's essential. Like that's what I think about a lot. Like let's say there's you, Duncan,
Yeah.
right? And instead of 8 billion different individuals, there's just 8 billion Duncans. And you guys operate. You guys all had the same objectives, same intentions.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be like we're all interconnected? Like, there's a Duncan that's a doctor. There's this person that's the Duncan that's the pilot. We're all interconnected. It's like a big, it's like a Bluetooth system, you know, or like when what you're thinking right now is what somebody understands on the other side of the planet, which is, I think, I don't know, kind of branches off to like
hard.
Communism, or like no.
Yeah. And okay, so there's two things I want to try and talk about. I don't want to limit it with just humans, just to the togetherness of everything that experiences existence.
So Earth, man.
Earth, in like a weird,
core.
holistic way to think about it.
Ants too.
Because just to see the togetherness and beauty of everything. Like the other day, I was looking at a tree, and I looked up because of my system. And at the top, it had these little cherries, these little fruits. At the top, where the sun hit, they were still red, and then toward the bottom, they got dark. But I just thought, wow, there's beauty all around, and it's just nice to absorb all this beauty of everything that's together. The ants too. I saw some ants the other day.
Man.
They did a really good job eating up this tree. There's sawdust everywhere. I was watching. They'd fall and then they get back up. I had no idea what they're doing. Right? I don't know anything. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, or how they choose what pieces of wood to eat through, or how they're operating. But somehow it works. And I was just like, oh, thinking about the togetherness and trying to reduce the ego when I make decisions to think about the whole is a goal I want to have, is a goal I have toward intentionally shifting myself to operate under a little bit of a different system.
What advice would you give to students who feel they aren't naturally, wrong question. How do you stay motivated and disciplined when life gets overwhelming or distracting?
From the standpoint of a student, it's so difficult. I find university extremely difficult. And it's taken these 4 academic years to get to where I am. And it's all built on from what I previously did. How to stay motivated, like we talked about earlier, about you have to have those habits and systems in place. One example I had from last year, that was such a small thing that contributed to my academic success, was every day, without exception. So I take the train. I had to run up the stairs at the train station without exception. Do the one thing, the habit. I form a habit right off the bat. I'm off the train. I'm entering campus. I form the habit without exception. And and the thing is, like we said earlier, this isn't a hard thing to do. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable. Like if I went for a bike ride the day before and I was like, oh, I'm really sore, I have to run up the stairs. Or if it's cold, your muscles are tight, you're tired. But no, without exception, I did the one thing to form a habit, an easy and doable thing to form a habit, and then tried to form other habits afterwards. So for me, I had to form habits to operate under a system. And yeah, it's difficult. And there's like it's so difficult, especially, but to be honest, I don't know if you've noticed this. I think I've met maybe 2 people of exceptional intelligence at school in university. The most people I meet that get good grades, just extremely hardworking people. So for me, what to do? Find your why, have intention, build habits, work hard toward doing what you're doing. I think, yeah, having the why is crucial. A lot of first year students don't have that why. They enter university. I think it's just gonna be like high school. You did high school, it was pretty easy. Everyone in university didn't think high school was that hard. They all got pretty good grades. And they get there. And for me, yeah, I was immediately knocked down. In my first year, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't have a why for being there. I just entered a program and I wasn't, in all honesty, living authentically for myself. My first year I was in engineering, and honestly, I think I picked it just because I thought it would make my dad happy. So I wasn't living authentically with intention, and then I didn't do well, and I don't even consider it failure because I didn't try hard. Like I was required to withdraw, which means I was kicked out, and then it took time to forge the path for where I am today that I created myself for where I want to be. Kind of gone off topic. What was the main question again? I want to make sure I get it.
The main question was how do you stay motivated and disciplined when life gets overwhelming or distracting?
Life gets overwhelming. So yeah, so like I said before, creativity helps. Understanding what you really want. So for me, the thing I want most is to get really good grades. But as economics teaches, the law of diminishing marginal returns governs much. So I don't know. I wonder what the difference between I think the difference between a B and an A is probably the difference between an F and a B. It's hard to get to the next step. Each step is much harder to get to than the last one. So I have once again forgot the question. I want to make sure I answer it. May you please repeat the question?
You're answering it, man. When like, how do you stay motivated and disciplined when life gets? Yeah. You've answered it all the way through. Where
yeah,
when life gets overwhelming and you to stay motivated, you ensure that you're constantly reflecting, right? And you have your why.
Constant reflecting, having the why. And sometimes I'll be like, I'm tired. And I'm not going to do any homework today. I need a day off. And I realize that, so I take the day off. But you don't let it become 2 days off. And everyone has their unique struggles. It's hard because, I mean, if you have a job and something happens, you just take time off. But no one's stopping for you in university. One really challenging thing I had happen last year is one of my friends passed away. And I went to a celebration of life. And then afterward, I had a problem set that was due. So I had to do the problem set. I got through most of it that day. And then the next day I finished it. But it was really hard to do. I didn't want to do it.
You're probably just thinking about your friend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. But everyone goes through so many, and I don't want to say the way I did that is best for everyone, because certainly it's good to be human and to feel, and maybe I could have asked for an extension on it, but I chose not to. But everyone goes through such hard things, and it doesn't stop for you. The way I intentionally go about it is just moving forward with the habits and the goal in mind.
You know, when when people say keep going,
Yeah.
I always think like the worst case scenario for the opposite of that, like giving up, like surrendering, is like offing yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
okay,
you think of it as a binary, where if you can't, you you keep going or you don't go at all, right?
no,
Is
like
that what you're saying?
when they
Or-
say, like when everybody says keep going, like
Yeah.
don't give up, like in every single realm, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be artistry, creative side, in school and physical discipline. What is like the epitome of surrender?
Oh.
Right, like in the sense where like you give up on life, life itself, you give up. And I think, you know, there's like death comes to all of us, and like there's, yeah, it's hard to be motivated and disciplined in times of just tumultuous times, when you have the death of a loved one, and you have all this. I always remind myself that anybody that I know or I could go at any time, and that today may be my last day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
mean when I say to myself, this is temporary. Yeah.
Yeah, and that friend of yours, right? What would they want you to do? And of course, yeah, it's good to like they're in your thoughts. But what would they want you to do? Like, of course, they want you to live your life, right? They want you to don't want you to sulk all the time. Like, they'd want you to ace that test. They want you to do what to, yes, keep them in mind, but also do your best in life and stay motivated and disciplined. Because the opposite of that is to veg out and not do anything with your life, which wouldn't help anyone and wouldn't help your friend who passed away. You know? And if the roles were reversed, what would you want them to do?
Yeah.
You know? Of course, if you're a good friend, you'd want them to succeed, right? And if taking time off to process the emotions, if that's what's good for you, then do it. But if you don't have time to do that because you need to pass this test and you need this right now, do it and process it later. So I think you're a person that knows themselves. You seem like you know yourself really well. It seems like you've done a lot of reflection. You seem really grounded, man. And I'm immensely grateful for our conversations. Last night, dude, the street interviews and our talks, you're an extremely great listener. You're probably one of the best. Yeah, and
I'm not so used to talking. I feel like I'm
I felt
much better listener.
I feel like me. I actually journaled about you today.
Oh.
Yeah. I want you to read it. I want you to read it.
Thank you. I don't know what to say, but thank you. That means,
yeah, dude.
That makes me feel good and means a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, Duncan made me feel me. Like I felt seen, which a lot of the time I don't feel seen, you know? Like sometimes I don't feel seen. So when I do, I'll tell people I feel seen by them. Listened to.
Wow. Yeah.
That you brought that upon me, which is, you know, just some bromance, bro. Yeah. Some good stuff. But I think you will go far in life, dude. And I think majority of people that have been in that seat, we're all in our 20s.
Yeah.
You're long term, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Thank you so much.
For is this the conclusion to the podcast?
Yeah. Do you have any last words to the audience out there who may be struggling, who may want to give up, they don't have any structure?
Yeah. If I want to do like a serious thing, I think just retroactively, everything I've said today is my opinions about how I've rationalized my existence. So not everything's going to apply to you, but part of that's, like we said, you create systems and be intentional about your life. And then you and you alone choose how you make these systems operate, why you do things, and your intentions. And with that in mind, keep it long term.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That's this has been great. I think we are gonna create more memories, and we're gonna. I want you to help in more projects. I want you to succeed, and I think you're gonna kill it this semester. School in a couple of days, bro. Yeah. Dude, you want to join me Tuesday, man? Just film. I just need an hour.
Yeah, Tuesday would be a good day for me to do that at the beginning of the semester before it gets hectic.
Send me your schedule.
Yeah, I took a picture. I was going to show you. Yeah.
And then we'll align it. U of A, if you're watching, get this guy and I'll talk to this guy. I want to talk to you.
I might look different though, like I told you.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to shave my head every day. But I'm not sure now. I'm a little bit nervous that the day's approaching. I might be bald if you see me next, but I usually have a green sweater on.
Okay, green sweater, bald guy or not, But remember this face. But as always, to everyone listening, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope. Strengthen your faith and keep it long term. Duncan Morrison, everyone. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. Peace.
Oh man, that was a great experience. I realized that it says you're saying that the secondary camera wasn't up.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, nice.
That was intentional.
Oh, okay.
Because, dude, it had in the second angle.